Hi guys, today we're going to talk about a couple of my games that led to my top 65 finish with 2.6. First game is against AgonyKing. He plays Giant Sparky Nado. I think that's a rather bad matchup because they have Nado and Mini P.E.K.K.A. and then they have Void against my stuff. And they also have Evo Knight, which can be super dangerous if they can build up a split push. We'll see how that doesn't really work out for him in this game, but if it does, it can be super hard to defend, basically impossible, I would say, because you have to distract the Evo Knight, and then behind that is maybe a Sparky that you also have to distract somehow and keep in check. And then on the other side they have a giant Mini P.E.K.K.A. and just everything can go down so fast. In this game that doesn't happen, fortunately, and that makes me think that maybe as long as they don't get this sort of push, it is rather good matchup. But well, I've lost it many times, and so I think it's not that good. So yeah, pretty standard stuff here. We went Hog and got some damage as always because Hog is so good. Here we're gonna see our first average Evo Iceberg value. It's super good against Sparky. So yeah, that's a clean defense. He can't do much there. The main issue against this deck really is the Nado. Other than that, and I guess Evo Wizard is new in that deck. Otherwise, it's pretty straightforward how you have to defend. I'm just stacking my stuff in the back now. Hog is always possible too, but usually only Ice Golem plus Hog. And in this case, right now, I don't want to go Hog because, well, he has the Mini P.E.K.K.A. And if I go Ice Golem plus Hog, then I don't have it on defense anymore. And you could see I distracted the Sparky here with my Ice Golem to protect my Musk. And that little extra value was most likely worth it, in my opinion. It was. And then the Evo Skellies, I put them right at the bridge because I knew he didn't have Rage yet. He had just used it on the left side, and so I could throw them in there, and he had to nade them, which is obviously very good for me because he doesn't want to have to waste the whole Nado on just Evo Skellies. So now what you saw was the also very nice Skellies on the left with my Hog that distracted the Mini P.E.K.K.A. And it got me so many hits because the Mini P.E.K.K.A. retargeted. And then I could also, he tried to get some sort of split lane push with the Evo Knight there, but it didn't work out for him because it was just not really at the same time, and it was still pretty easy to defend. And then, yeah, he gave up in the end. So that was a nice win there. And our next game is Giant Graveyard. Again, not a good matchup, especially since Cannoneer. It just kills Hog so fast that it's super hard to get nice counter pushes in, because usually when they go Giant and Graveyard at the bridge, which is 10 elixir, then it should be the perfect play to go Hog at the same time because they simply have no elixir to defend it. But then comes the Cannoneer, and if you're in double elixir time and you have cheap cards, in this case he doesn't have the cheapest cards, but for example archers for 3 elixir, they can almost defend Hog flawlessly with Cannoneer as their help. So it's only one Hog hit, and you on the other hand had to spend 4 elixir for your counter push and could not use it on defense. So this version he has Evo Barbs and Boulder, so it seems like it's kind of hard to break through with Hog in general if they play it right. But I had a good start here. We're just gonna let the archers go because I don't want to have to waste my Evo Skellies on them and somehow mess up my cycle if I use something else. So yeah, we're just gonna stack stuff in the back. The main way to play this matchup, I feel like, is to really stack stuff in as much as you can. Stack musketeers in the back. use them more than anything else, because they have a pretty hard time killing them. Of course, if it's Musketeer versus Bowler here at the bridge, then the Musk is gonna die. What a surprise, right? The Evo Skellies here, yeah, I kind of always tend to use them at the bridge against that matchup, so they have to use their spell on them, and they can't, I don't know, use it to help with the graveyard. But of course, if they go giant and graveyard, it can also be good to use them on the graveyard. So yeah, again, stacking stuff in the back. He wants to build up some sort of push on the left, and then the bowler on the right is just to block me from going hog. And yeah, he arrows everything, so my cannon is almost dead already, but I also have my second cannon ready, so that's pretty much fine. And again, you see I went Evo Skellies on the Knight, which I don't think they were really necessary, but because of the Cannoneer, he has to use something else to defend them. Now that was pretty bad by me. I thought the Evo Skellies on the left would pressure more, but just Evo Archers, and then he still had enough elixir for the barbs. Cleared everything up nicely for him. So yeah, that's quite some damage now. Oh yeah, I mean, I had to log late, I guess. Yeah, I'm not very happy about the situation, so giving him a little bit of a laugh. But truly, it was my mistake that I went hog there right into his Evo barbs. Now we're starting the classic fireball cycle. As you know, with 2.6, that's what you do all day against a lot of decks. There's nothing else you can do, unfortunately. You just have to rely on that safe damage. And he keeps going bowler on the right, which makes it hard for me to go hog. So I kind of have to trust my defense here to be as flawless as possible. The cannon in the back helps to defend the graveyard and nothing else. Usually there's a risk if you place the cannon anywhere else or a Musk that they retarget on the giant, and then ouch, nothing focuses the graveyard anymore. So yeah, cannon in the back is the safe play against that. Here the instant Ice Spirit stops the giant from crossing the bridge, so the tower focuses on the graveyard first. Very nice little micro. And pulling the bowler to the middle with my Ice Golem allows me to activate my King Tower. So yeah, that hog push, again, it was a little bit weird. I should just stop going hogs unless I can get a nice counter push, which is the case here. I knew that he was gonna go graveyard, so I went hog at the same time, and it worked out. It got me 2 hits. Unfortunately, that is the end for him. So yeah, pretty solid game. And on to the next one. We're up against Batan, a very nice Canadian player. I like his playstyle. I don't know him very much, but I like him. And he's playing, unfortunately, he's playing a deck that I don't like very much right now, which is Drill, Golden Knight, Executioner. What is that? It's definitely better than the Remy Ailey deck with Drill, which is just a super hard, I mean, it's an impossible matchup. But Cannon is also very good against Hog, unfortunately. Golden Knight can do a lot of weird things, and it's not easy to defend. And of course, Evo Drill is Evo Drill. It's always very annoying to defend. And then they have building and Nado, so hog damage is gonna be a rare occasion here, if at all. So we're gonna see what we're doing. Again, it's the start of the game. We're just building our stuff from the back, and he's doing the same. And here I think I'm gonna go for a nice fireball. Somehow my fireball still reaches that Executioner, because I am cheating, obviously. And yeah, in this matchup you just have to go for as many fireballs as possible, because you really are not gonna get much damage with hogs or anything else. Now, that was a very nice log by him. Had to force me to use an emergency Evo Iceberg, and the goblin still got some damage. And I don't know what exactly I did on the right. I think I planned to use something else against that Ice Spirit because I didn't want to let it connect. But in the end it was a Hog, so he got a super nice and cheap defense. So do not do that, guys. It was a bad play. Anyway, we're mostly focusing on the same side here, and he keeps going on that same side as well. So the damage on the right doesn't really make a difference. Only the negative licks rate. Here, nice ability by him. He dodges the fireball value. Unfortunate for me, so it was just a pure wasted fireball. And here comes the evil drill. Always log that first, so the goblins are safely killed. And boom, still one goblin reaches the tower because it just for some reason popped out. Now he always uses the cannon and the anti-fireball spot, which is nice if he can pull it through. In this case, of course, it wasn't needed to pull the Hog because it was in the middle anyway. But when I go Hog on the edge of the arena, which is the usual placement, then they have to use something else to kite the Hog towards the cannon. Here I also use the same placement, but it's not because he has fireball, he obviously doesn't, but rather to be a safe defense against the Golden Knights. The dash range is not enough for the Golden Knight to connect to the tower. So yeah, now we keep. He always uses those little counter aggressions with the goblins, and I do defend them easily. I don't really know what their purpose is, so yeah, I don't agree with that with those. Here he goes cannon again, so I'm just trying to build something up with my Hogs in the back. Here a big mistake by me. I used log not on the drill but on the executioner beforehand because I didn't know he had evil drill, so it's kind of hard to defend. And here you see what he's doing right. He's using the anti-fireball placement and then the goblins to kite the Hog. Usually you would not go for the cannon. Drill again, log first, then Ice Spirit, and that is a nice defense. In this case I had to use also the skellies also, because otherwise the tower, which was focused on the Golden Knight, would not kill the goblins. Usually log and then Ice Spirit is enough. We're just barely getting the log back in cycle. And yeah, it's getting super intense here. He misses the Nado on the Hog, but it's still no hit. My Ice Golem is running back. I'm scared. Oof, but it's not enough for the tower range. Next drill coming in. Nado, fireball. Oh, Evo Skelly value, absolutely average. Killing everything of that first and then the second drill. And then, oof, one last HP, 1 HP illegal Hog hit saves me the game. It was due to his bad cannon placement that I got that hit. If he had used the cannon pretty much anywhere else more in the center, I would not have gotten that 1 HP Hog hit this way. It was just barely enough to win. Yes, very nice game. And on to the next one. Now we are playing Giant Double Prince. Finally, a very good matchup. There's absolutely no excuse to losing this, unless I mean there's no real excuse. He has the Void, which can be annoying, but the cycle is so fast. The Evil Bomber is not a huge threat, so very good matchup. But of course you have to play careful. You can't play super aggressive. Terrible Ice Spirit by me, getting gives him the bomber damage. Of course not what I had planned, but the Ice Spirit would not have went anywhere anyway because he's playing Duchess. Very interesting choice. Of course not a good tower right now, so don't really know what the purpose is. Even the Ice Golem connects. And here you can see he does go for the Void on my cannon, but by that point the Giant is already almost dead, so I don't even need the next cannon or whatever. During the main Giant meta, when Duchess was the only tower you could play, this could get more dangerous, because then the Giant would usually be a bigger threat. But now that's not not an issue anymore. Here I have to use the cannon to defend the prince. That is absolutely fine. You can see he tries to abuse it, basically, that I had to use the cannon against the prince by going giant instantly, but my cycle is too fast, so it's not an issue for me at all. It is kind of a general tip that you don't have to always try to use your cards for one and only one purpose. So if you think that you always need to have the cannon in cycle in the case that they might go giant, then you are limiting yourself to defending, for example, that prince with other cards, and those are probably less optimal than just going for a cannon. So sometimes you just have to trust your cycle and trust your ability to get out of those like rather bad spots if you don't have that cannon cycle. So here he just doesn't give a fuck anymore. He voids the tower and the musketeer, so it obviously survives, but then the arrows are enough to kill it. I predict the evil bomber. It was very obvious play here. Now that was not a good play though. I wanted to activate my king tower, but obviously the bomber was gonna go for the musketeer. Anyway, here I wanted to predict the void, but no chance. He just uses it on the opposite side, so I can't do much here. Now the hawk opposite, because I know after that void either he barely gets enough to defend my hawk, or he can support his push, so he could not support his push any further. So I had my Evo Skelly value, and then when he finally had enough to zap it, the push was basically already dead. As you can see though, I got a lot of damage on the left side. That was terribly played again. I knew that the ice golem that I just used there against the prince and phoenix wasn't gonna be enough, but I somehow still didn't play anything else, just let that damage happen. I was kind of in a weird mood at that point, because I knew that, well, I was probably gonna win the game no matter what I do. That's what playing a good matchup feels like. So yeah, we just let that damage happen for some reason. Obviously that's not good usually, but because of the matchup it's not a big issue anyway. So yeah, he uses the zap on the hog, but because of the duchess it's still damage, or maybe actually the duchess wasn't at fault here, but my Evo Skellies killed the prince very easily, very nicely. And he has the bomber back, the Evo bomber, so ice golem at the bridge to block it. Of course, not a big threat in this matchup usually. Oof, he does go for a nice zap there, so I have to log. It was a very close call in the game. It looked a little less exciting in this replay, but yeah, I just have a super safety defense. I can spam cannons all I want. He can only kill so many cannons with his void and his arrows and whatnot, and then in the end hawk, impossible to defend for him. Fireball finishes off, and that's GG. And on to the next one. Now we're playing Guriko, the world finalist who qualified in the last monthly final. So of course he is a very good player, and unfortunately yes, I'm gonna give him some emotes during this game, throughout this game, because I do not like his deck, and I don't like the way this game started already, because I used my log, which is normal, to cycle it, but of course if he goes drill first play, then it can be absolutely brutal. So it's a bit of a dilemma if it's good to use it. Probably better than any of the other cards I had in cycle, but still dangerous against, for example, drill or LogBait. So here he has the absolute hard counter, probably the worst matchup in the game for 2.6 in this current meta, along with Splash Yard. It's just building and Nado and Evo Drill, which is so hard to defend. But as you saw in the game against Baton, that it can be possible to win it. However, the deck that Baton is playing is different in so many ways that the matchup is much less dangerous, you could say, because here you also have the Demolisher, which is just very good, and then the Magic Archer, which can have crazy lineups, and yeah, it's just actually impossible. But you're gonna see how I managed to turn this game around after such a bad start, and also many failed plays, like against the Marcher there on the right. So the first one was that he tried to Nado my evil skellies there, so he didn't have enough elixir for the bomb tower against the Hog. I saw that his elixir was not gonna be enough. I mean, I was hoping it, but I was right, fortunately. So that was a very nice damage lead now that I got, which I'm never supposed to get. Usually you don't get any Hog hits in this matchup against anyone who slightly knows what they're doing. It's just completely hopeless. So now, yeah, defending the Evo Drill as well as I can, considering that it's 4 elixir and I always have to spend at least 6, 7, 8, is of course terrible for me. Yeah, he kills the Ice Golem and can then go for a Nado. Unfortunately, Ice Golem is not enough to protect the Hog from the Nado these days anymore. And that's where we start to cycle some fireballs. There's nothing else you can do, basically. Predict the Magic Archer at the bridge, perfect. Because he can reach the cannon from that spot. And Log and Ice Spirit for flawless defense, perfect. Cannon against the Magic Archer and against the Demolisher to at least distract it. And oof, that was pretty close. He did not get to the tower, but he almost would have. And now I do suspect that he can go for Magic Archer here, because the Musketeers are focused on the Knight, and he does. It's still 2 hits, unfortunately. As fast as I go with my Fireball, it will always be 2 hits unless you predict it. Flawless defense here, Musketeer and Tower, and then Log is a flawless defense, fortunately, with the right timing. Nice Skelly predict there with my Ice Spirit. Log is out. He has the next bomb tower, but the Log is out. He usually doesn't want to go for a Nado against just evil skellies, so they're going ham on his Knight. They're surviving the bomb tower. They're surviving everything. Late Magic Archer. Oof, they connect. Next Ice Spirit also kills his evil skellies, and oof, he just got cooked. Wow, I don't know why he gave up there. He still probably would have had some chances if he went for fast Nado and then the evil skellies died, but GG. And on to the next one. We're playing against Hypno, LogBait player. Very annoying deck that I don't like at all, which is why you're gonna see a lot of emotes from me in this game. I don't mind the fast cycle and the fast anything pace that his deck has. I actually like it, but what I do not like is Princess, because it's so dumb. You go for, right now I'm predicting it, yep, perfect. You go for Princess at the bridge all the time, and it shouldn't exist. It shouldn't be such a safe win con, because it's basically impossible to react to it. I don't know, I can't at least. Some people say they can, but I can't, and I think most people can't. So I don't like the fact that it basically gives guaranteed damage unless predicted. And then, of course, Evo Barrel is super annoying. You always have to somehow defend both sides at the same time. It's always a negative trade for you. Always super annoying. And he goes for Princess at the bridge again. As you can see, I've given the well played, because, well, he really well played. Played well there, didn't he? Placing the Princess at the bridge at the same time as the barrel. That was quite skillful. Anyway, that's the main reason I don't like the deck. And then the second reason is that Rocket Cycle, being the main win condition for him here, is so annoying, and I hate it with all my heart. I do not think that Rocket should be a viable win condition. See, now he obviously knows that I have evil skellies, so he goes barrel in the front so that the usual placement doesn't work. But in the heat of the moment, I wasn't ready to really recognize where the barrel was going, so I just put it in the usual spot, and well, he got some nice damage. Now I'm getting annoyed because well, of course, Evil Valk can fully defend a hog, and I don't like that, but it is how it is. It's not super OP or whatever, because, well, it is the Evo, and my Evo Skellies, for example, are also kind of OP. So what am I complaining about? But I still don't like it that my poor hog is getting defended so easily. And in general, of course, in this deck, so spammy, so many rockets, so many princesses, and Evo Barrel makes me have a rather bad mood throughout the game. And he is in a very decent spot right now. He can always spam his side full of LogBait-ish cards that are kind of annoying to defend without log, but I need my log for the barrel, so he always puts up double lane pressure on one side, while the princess is not immediate pressure, but on the other side, the dark goblins, and then the regular goblins, and so on, can always make it hard for me to attack or build up anything. Now here he uses the rocket against the hog, but he misses the Evo Ice Spirit, which is some very nice damage. I predict the princess, perfect, and that's a bad dark goblin by him. I can fireball that, yep. Usually if he went opposite side, it would still do everything but be out of fireball range. And then also bad fire spirit by him, so he needs to use an extra E-Spirit. A lot of micro mistakes on both of our sides. Now here I know, okay, the E-Spirit is out, and the Evo Skellies can do something maybe, and he does go for a bulk, which is expensive, and he probably didn't want to do. But of course, the Evo Skellies in the end don't do anything real. Next log on the barrel, yep. And well, I am still only in an okay spot here. I go for my Fireball Cyclop because I'm not really getting anywhere with hogs at this point. Evo Barrel defense always a bit of a mess, but the log on the princesses was definitely good. And what a nice hog hit here, puts him under a lot of pressure now. He has to spam his stuff as much as he can. Very nice log value there. The Dark Goblin, well, it dies anyway, okay. So now the Musk here, bit of a panic moment, and then the Evo Skellies. I wanted to predict something, but it didn't work. So I mean, I killed the E-Spirit, but that's not good Evo value. Now the Ice Spirit to kill that on the left, and then the next barrel, and I'm just in a solid cycle here. Evo Skelly, regular Skelly's coming a little bit too late, but it's not enough for him. In the end, he could not build up the pressure anymore, and I had the damage advantage that he could have prevented, in my opinion. But it's definitely not a terrible matchup, like if they have a building or whatever. Still annoying to play against though. And our next match against AgonyKing again that Sparky Nado deck. This one is a little more eventful than the last one because it gets quite close in the end. You will see what I mean. It was shortly before the end of the season, so I was in a bit of a different mood. I kind of wanted to end my games as quickly as possible, but I knew I had to stay calm to win a matchup like this. So yeah, he goes in for a bit of a weird first play. Of course, Nado's the Musketeer, which they always do. So my Skellies were instantly dead there, and the Musketeer died, but that's okay. Next Ice Spirit Law combo against the Sparky, of course, it not only resets him, but also freezes him. If you just place an Ice Spirit, then he shoots it, and it's still being reset, but the freeze of the Ice Spirit definitely helps a little bit. And then the second cannon, because, well, you just have to use multiple cannons in that defense usually. Just defending with one cannon and one Musketeer and stuff against the Nado Sparky combo is almost never enough. So yeah, him playing Duchess again, super weird. He voids my Musk, okay, that's a +1 trade, very good. But I have my Evo Ice Spirit. I know that I'm probably gonna do fine in my next defense. The play that you usually do here is put the Ice Spirit somewhere far away, and then the Giant, it jumps on the Giant and does not get hit by the Sparky. But because the Giant and the Sparky are so close to each other, it will splash them both. The Evo Skellies had the purpose of going for the Giant and the Sparky, maybe splitting up, maybe reaching out of the rage range, which wasn't the case here. So the rage killed him fast, but I know that he won't predict them usually, so they will still get some value even if he kills all of them. And they did. I had to log in the end, but they still did their job just fine. Now the wizard in the back, I think he can do more with wizard in this matchup than he ultimately did. I think that it can be very good to kill my small distraction stuff that I use against the Sparky, but he barely uses it, so I don't know. Now the mini P.E.K.K.A was supposed to go on the skellies here, but it didn't. Now the fast void on the cannon is of course the play that you have to do here, and it is quite bad for me. Oops, that was not good. At least I got to protect my cannon for a little bit longer, and now he had just used his rage, so the evil skellies are gonna be fine. And it is some damage here, but it's not as bad as losing your whole tower in one push, which is usually what happens. Now the Hog unfortunately gets defended easily, and the mini P.E.K.K.A still gets a hit, but that's fine because it's on the other side. I don't care about it that much. He voids the musketeer now. Well, very good value for him, of course, but now he doesn't have it for the cannon, and the cannon is the main defense. And then the evil ice spirit, of course, does wonders against Sparky. I don't understand that push at all. I have the perfect answers tonight, and mini P.E.K.K.A, he can do as much as he wants to here, but it's not gonna work out for him. The Nado again kills my Hog pretty easily, unfortunately. But now I have both the mini P.E.K.K.A and the Nado outcycled. He had his mini P.E.K.K.A back, but he decided not to use it, and ooh, because of the Duchess I get 3 Hog hits. Very nice. And now I'm going for my first of 3 fireballs. Let's see if it's gonna be enough. It's very close because cycling 3 fireballs is quite risky when they have the big push coming already. I go for this Hog because I'm feeling so safe. I'm getting my second Hog and my log in. Oh, last second against the mini P.E.K.K.A here, and then I distract on the right. Mini P.E.K.K.A gets hit, and the last fireball just in time before the Sparky might hit my tower. GG. I send a nervous emote, and that is it. And for our second to last game now, Macarius CR, Hog Mortar player for a long time, plays a very cool old school type deck. Little Prince, of course, pretty bad now. But he goes Hog first play. I can't complain about that. I do it all the time, and it's really, what do you want to do? It's the only way in some matchups to get anywhere. But I don't have my cannon, so I have to use a lot of elixir, and it's definitely not the start that I was hoping for here. So let's see. I go Hog. I know that he has mortar, but it's just something, I don't know. I didn't really know what else to do. And I don't want to give him poison value if I go Musk in the back. I know that he has poison, and now I have my cannon, fortunately, so he knows not to go Hog here. It wouldn't do anything for him. The poison on the Musk is something that you can do, and it definitely is good for him here. The Musk unfortunately survives, so he has to log that. He probably would have logged anyway, or maybe not, I don't know. But it's an okay situation here. I could get a fireball in, and I'm still doing fine elixir wise, so we're balanced again. In general, I would say the matchup is probably rather good, because the Little Prince is just not good anymore. The poison nerf as tower damage helps me in pure spell cycle matches to keep up. Now this poison, well, he just gets my Musk and some tower damage, but it's okay because it's the opposite side. Oh, very nice Ice Spirit on the evil skellies. He has to mortar that, and well, he does use a very nice evil mortar. I was not expecting it to be on that tile, but this way it wasn't possible for me to activate my king tower, which is usually what I can do when they place it in the middle. This way it wasn't possible, and it kind of confused me, so I didn't want to waste my evil skellies on just that one mortar hit, and I thought maybe the log would kill it, but it didn't. So yeah, he gets some nice damage there from the mortar. The goblin, of course, just super OP, always connects to the tower no matter what you do. He's keeping up with the cycle very well here. His cycle is definitely a bit slower, so I'm the one who can pressure all the time, and he barely keeps up. But in this case, he manages to do just that, and so he has a nice damage advantage here. Musk on the opposite to not give him a lot of poison value. He still goes for it, and nice prediction log on the skellies. But, well, it's the opposite side, so I don't really mind the poison damage. Now I know he has log, but it's still, he has to use it on the opposite side this way, and yeah, in this case he again just barely gets back to his mortar, and I'm almost back to my next hog already. So now he's definitely in a bit of trouble. Only log and bats, it can be flawless, but in this case it wasn't, because the bats came too late, I think, and the log as well. But well, it's still not a great situation. I need more hog damage. This way, with the Ice Bird, I could kill his little prince very fast, so he doesn't get any more 3-card cycle value. Not that he wouldn't have got, not that he would have got much anyway, but he has a very fast hog here, and oh, last second my spirit jumps and I get back to my cannon. But now he kind of has me in a bit of a pressure situation, because he could defend my hog with evil skellies, and he had the hog before that where I barely got to my cannon, and that's the same case again here. Fortunately, he's not playing EQ or whatever, so he can't put up too much pressure with that. And I can use a weird bat cannon placement like that with the help of the Ice Bird. That's enough against the hog. And well, now we're in a solid spot. I know that he wants to use a mortar on offense because it's the evil mortar, and boom, perfect evil skellies. It is easy against the evil mortar to activate my king tower, but now he's most definitely not getting through with hogs or anything. So yeah, I can place them wherever I want because he doesn't have EQ, and it's just in general not super dangerous for me. Wherever I place them, they're gonna be fine. And yeah, I'm just never gonna get truly outcycled by him. I always have my cannon ready, and in the end I can go for fireball cycle because it's gonna do more damage than the poisons, and he doesn't really have the patience anymore to go for little princess and abuse 3-card cycle. So yeah, from that point there was nothing he can do anymore. It's definitely not the bad matchup that it once was, when little prince was OP and evil mortar was also stronger and poison was stronger and so on. And for our final match of the day, not the final game that I played, unfortunately that one was quite boring, so I'm not gonna include it in this video, but our next game against Guriko, the world finalist. And he goes drill first play. He unfortunately, as I know, plays the Remy Ailey deck, which is a hard counter. So I laugh right from the start. I'm not very happy about seeing that matchup. But I've beaten him once already before, so let's see how this game is gonna go. Usually the way that you can, well, kind of try to hold on here is by going musks in the back, trying to distract potential magic archers at the bridge like here. He doesn't do it, of course, because it's too obvious, and in single elixir it's kind of dangerous sometimes. Yeah, just fireball cycle as much as you can to hold on to this game, and try not to get completely killed by some weird interactions with Evil Drill or Magic Archer or the Goblin Demolisher. Anyway, now what I'm trying here is the oldest trick in the book. The Ice Bird in front pushes the hog outside, and it does work against him. Unfortunately, the log on the right side was bad by me. I assumed the drill was gonna die, but it didn't, so he also got a lot of damage. But his missed Nado gives me a whole lot of hog damage that he should not have gotten. It is absolutely possible to defend the hog here, even with that Ice Bird play with a Nado. You just need to use a different placement, and a little bit later, actually, I think the regular placement works as well. In this case, he did everything wrong that you can do wrong. So yeah, let's see how I'm gonna try to hold on to this damage advantage. With Evil Drill, you never know if that's possible. And of course, Goblin Demolisher also can do weird things. Nice little prediction there against the magic archer, even though he gets a hit on the other side. Yeah, I just fireball it because it's good value. Protect my cannon from the demolisher bomb here. And yeah, he goes demolisher in the back again. He wants to build up something of a push rather than just going naked Evo drill. High bomb tower to kill the Evo skellies, but it's not very good in my opinion, because I could snipe it with my cannon. And then unfortunately he did not use his Nado there. If he had, I could have maybe outcycled him with my next hog. This way I just go hog on the bag again. I skull him against the magic archer, and then that's again very nice fireball value. And unfortunately he can defend my hog with just log and skellies, because the magic archer does some damage to help out. And yeah, that's really the only thing that you can try to do here. Stack cannons, stack musketeers, place them safely so that the magic archer can't possibly get any value. Now the ice golem runs back to the drill, is now on that side. I don't like that, but he does not get to use any of it for magic archer lineups or whatever. So on the other side he used the evil skellies to defend the hog, but it wasn't enough, so he had to use Nado as well. So that's not a bad trade for me. I'd get a flawless drill defense again. He has the Nado again. No hit, unfortunately. That's very sad, but it is what it is. Nado, of course, a very good card. And I just have to hold this defense for 1 minute longer. Let's see if I can. It is not easy against all the stuff that he can put up. Instant log and ice brute, flawless defense, and then I have to just throw the cannon in there. Again, I don't really understand what he's doing here. The magic archer, I don't agree with that. He should use it more to get instant lineups right at the bridge instead of just placing it anywhere in the back. I also missed my ice golem here, but it's okay, because the magic archer wasn't in tower range anyway. And yeah, now, oh my god, the demolisher was on the musk, but luckily only for one hit. Again, other than that, the drill defense is flawless. I can cycle all the fireballs in the world. Oof, he gets 2 nice magic archer lineup shots. The cannon was not able to kill him fast enough. Instant log again, boom, and ice spirit, and that is it. He cannot possibly get any more damage. He played this terribly. I wish him the best of luck for the upcoming World Finals. If he plays like this, he's gonna be out first day, no matter what. So yeah, I hope he practices some more, because that is just embarrassing. I hope you like this video. First time doing some commentary. Let me know what you think, if you liked it or didn't like it, and if I should do it again or just leave it be. I only had the replays now, so I thought maybe the commentary could compensate that a little bit. But of course, whatever you wish is my command for the future. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you have a great day. Bye bye.